What's up, everyone? Today I want to talk about something I found particularly interesting that I realised when I was thinking about the Mass Effect series. I mean, Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and the one no one likes to talk about these days, Andromeda. And there's something noticed that I find very interesting about each individual one, and that is each one of them reminds me or feels like to me like it's similar to a certain sci-fi franchise. Like each game feels like a different sci-fi franchise within the same series, and I find it very unique. So I'm just going to tell you what I basically mean by this. The first Mass Effect, it's all about kind of like explore. It's all about like you're in this world, you're trying to hunt down this rogue. Oh, okay, there's going to be spoilers in this, obviously, but I'm moving on. You're hunting down this rogue Spectre, this basically this, what can we call him? Elite agent, basically a secret agent in the Mass Effect universe. You have to hunt him down. You got your crew. You go on all these adventures together. It's awesome. The first Mass Effect, and you see all these like different like technology. You see all these different species, and it just, but it's like one. I would just feel like one like it's like an action movie, a fantasy movie. And you're going straight through it, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's fast paced. It's fun. It's great. The first Mass Effect to me feels very much like a Star Wars movie in that way, where it's this it's just this like non-stop ride of just fun, entertainment, and just like action packed. Like they have a goal and they're trying to go there and meet all these characters along the way. I love it. It's awesome. Then you got Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2, it doesn't really focus too much on the plot itself, but more on the world around it in a deeper, like they look at the world deeper and the seedier parts, but the big thing about Mass Effect 2 is the focus on the characters. And to me, Mass Effect 2 think of it this way. In Mass Effect 2, you're kind of separate. You're back from the dead. You're on the Normandy, and you're recruiting all these different characters from all these different places, from the seedy parts of the universe to the rich parts and all this. And you get all these different types of people, and they all try to get along in the one ship. Some argue with each other. And you just all go on these crazy adventures with this cast. Mass Effect 2 reminds me so much of Firefly. And because there's a lot of comedic moments, a lot more than the first one. This one has a lot more humour, dark, especially. And the whole interrupt system, it feels like something Mal would do in Firefly, the whole renegade interrupt. It just puts on a very Firefly feel to me. Then Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 just feels like everything has gone to shit. Things are getting depressing. It's a war. Like, things are just getting crazier and crazier. And all these alien species are trying to survive, but they're getting wiped out by this devastating opposition, the Reapers. And humanity are trying to survive. Mass Effect 3 reminds me so much, especially tone. This tone, particularly than any others, of Battlestar Galactica. It has that same like dread feeling, like humanity are trying to survive against this crazy machine opposition, the Cylons, and this the Reapers, and you just feel like everything's being weighing heavy on all the characters, especially because we know them so well through the other games. You just feel the dread and the weight of decisions, like on Commander Separate Soldiers on Anderson, Hackett, and it just pulls off so well. Then Andromeda. Now the weird thing about Andromeda is the thing it reminds you of maybe why people don't like it too much. Of course, there's the other problems like the animations. It's not as well made as the other Mass Effect, obviously. Why not about Andromeda? I enjoyed it. I really like Andromeda. But I'm a big Mass Effect fan, but that's not the bias. I actually really enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as the rest of them, and I think I know why. Because the sci-fi franchise that this reminds you of is a franchise I don't enjoy as much as the others I have recently named. Except ironically for the newest in the series, which would probably get the fans of this particular sci-fi franchise to kill me. I think Mass Effect Andromeda reminds me so much of Star Trek. Because think about it. You're going to a new galaxy, and the whole point is to explore and like go onto these planets, find out who the different species are. There any like advanced life forms that we can communicate with? Find planets so we can settle down, establish colonies. It just has this Star Trek feeling of exploring the unknown and You even have a scanner that to scan stuff to get information about the flora and the creatures of each planet and everything. And you just get such a Star Trek vibe off it. It's a lot slower paced, but at the same time, it just feels very Star Trek. So I know what, even the way the characters communicate with each other, there's something about that feels very Star Trek to me. Not a bad thing, but it's really good. And when I was saying, I've never really been a big fan of Star Trek. I know like some of the characters, obviously, Spock, Picard, Kirk, the people most people know. But I never really been a giant fan. I know I watched a couple of episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, and I enjoyed them, but I think it's just felt very dated to me. I don't know. But there's something about it. I really enjoy it. I think you see people like them. They're really well done, intelligent episodes. At least from the few I've seen. I'm sure they get better. But to me, I never really could get into them completely. Maybe there's too many other TV shows and games and stuff I had to watch. But I really enjoyed the movies. And I know that's also a heated topic, but I really enjoyed them. But I really, really love Star Trek Discovery. I know a lot of Star Trek fans hate it. They feel like it's just a cache and it's empty. But something about having the Star Trek universe and doing a modern kind of... Everything's more action, kind of fast-paced action and comedy. And I know that kind of is opposite of what I just said Star Trek is, but I kind of like the combination, and I really like it. And Star Trek Discovery has the second half. I enjoyed it. I thought this is a fun show, but the second half really picks up. There's some really cool twists. I know. I just somehow managed to go from having a discussion about Mass Effect and sci-fi franchise to Star Trek Discovery, but that's what happens when you're talking about all these sci-fi together. Sci-fi is just awesome. Let's be honest, right? But back to my point, and the whole Andromeda being Star Trek, that's just the feeling I get, and that's what each and every one of them. And when you really think about it, if you go back and you think about each Mass Effect game, and you play them all again, for example, each one's tone feels different. Like, there's some elements that are similar, like the banter with characters like Mass Effect 2 and 3, the banter's there, but the overall tone, each Mass Effect is completely different. And I know that's obvious, because things are getting more real, and the Reapers are coming close. But they just managed to pull off this tone that defines each game as its own thing. And every time I think of each Mass Effect, I'm like for example, if I want to play through Mass Effect series again, I'm like, oh yes, okay, so we gotta play the Star Wars first, then we move on to the Firefly Mass Effect, then the big one, Battlestar Galactica, and then we'll have a nice relaxing detour spin-off, so we say, of Star Trek. Mass Effect is a crazy franchise. It's such a great franchise, and the fact that they're able to have so many different tones in each game and make each game feel very distinct from the other is impressive to me. And I know Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda had their problems, but they're still great games in themselves. Let's be fair, right? Andromeda is not the worst game ever made. I know a lot of people think that it's not. Let's be serious, right? It was a quality made game, okay? Yeah, there was a lot of fuck ups. I'm not denying that. We can't deny that. But it's not a 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. At the very least, it's a 7. Maybe a 6 if you're really pissed off about it. But it had great gameplay. Some of the characters were really cool, I thought, interesting. The graphics were good, aside from the face animations, but I don't really have mind too much. Like, yeah, they were goofy, but I think they were blown a bit out of proportion. But the game itself was pretty good. And overall, and honestly, I'm not much else to say on the subject. I'll just go off on another random subject for the next couple of minutes. That's all I really wanted to say. I wanted to bring up this thing I keep thinking with the Mass Effect series, that they feel like different sci-fis. I just find it interesting about it. Well, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, do what you want, and if you have any thoughts on this particular topic, please let me know, or if you have any questions. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.